Right, what I'm doing now is I've chamfered all the edges on the lower mast. What I'm doing now is sticking on the pin rail and the driver boom saddle to the mast. And then after that's done, I'm gonna be adding the hound and cheeks, and then just as we've done before. So basically the same process as we've used before. Everything is now assembled, and I'm now putting the bindings around the lower mast. The lower mizzen mast is now painted, fighting top is on. Last thing I have to do is put the belaying pins into the belaying pin holes there. So I'm going to slot them in and then paint them black as shown here, and in the final painting. And then we're going to be moving on to the middle section of the mast. I've now just glued together the cross trees. The difference with this one is that the cross tree part in the middle is first looks like that, but then you cut 7.5mm off each side to look like the middle part, and you assemble it like that. Next, what we're going to do is sand the ends because they're square at the moment, and then after that we're going to be moving on to making the middle part. Right, so we've carved the square section on top, the octagonal section on the bottom, and the 3 1.5mm holes are drilled, and the octagonal section on the top are now complete as well. So next we are going to be moving on to starting to put that together. The entire mizzen mast is now assembled. I'm going to now paint the whole thing black, and I'm then going to start putting the blocks on. Right, so I'll finish tying all the blocks. I'm going to set these aside and finish them, putting them on tomorrow, because there's so many that my fingers are literally hurting from putting all these together. I'm going to put these aside and continue tomorrow, but for now what I'm going to do is start making the yards. So I'm now starting by making the driver booms. There's one, and literally all I have to do is sand the bottom into shape and then taper the whole thing, and then also shape the top a little bit. That's the same on both of them. And when I shape these, I'll show you the next part. Both of the booms are now in shape, as you can see. Now what we're going to do is stick the boom jewels on. This shorter, narrower one is for the driver boom, and the bigger, wider one is for the driver gaff. So the bigger one goes on to the smaller one, the smaller one goes on to the bigger one. And when that's done, we are going to taper the side so it looks nice and round like that. Right, that's the driver gaff done. Nice and easy. The boom has a U channel, which is just simply stuck on, and 2 1mm holes at the end. So I'm gonna leave these to the side because they're done, and I'm going to rig them up tomorrow, and we're going to be starting the yards for the mizzenmast now, because the booms are done. Now we're going to make the yards. I'm now making the mizzen top gallant yard. It's literally finished. Last bit I'm going to do for today is bind rope around the tie four pieces of bindings around the yard, and when that's done, that's it. And the last things I have left is the mizzen topmast yard and the crossjack yard, and a lot of rigging. But yeah, as you can see, I've now finished rigging all the blocks for the mizzenmast. What I'm going to be doing now is painting the two booms and the mizzen top gallant. Painting all of these, and I'm going to start rigging these as well. Once these are rigged, I'll show you what they look like, and then we're going to be continuing with the construction of the mizzen topmast yard and the crossjack yard, which, after those are finished, that's every single mast done. The only thing I'll have left is the bowsprit, and the bowsprit has 2 more yards. So, still, I can't believe the amount of yards and things that I've made, but it's finally all starting to come together. So yeah, as you can see now, all of the masts are in, the 3 masts. One problem, as you can see here, the foremast and the mizzenmast is fine, but the main mast is leaning over to the left, to the port side. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Should be an easy fix. I'll just expand the hole that it goes into a little bit, and then near the end we'll just adjust it when we actually have to glue the masts in. I'll adjust it using pieces of wood that won't be visible. So it's quite an easy fix, but I'm not sure why it is like that, because the mast itself is perfectly straight. But yeah. So this is the finished rig and rigged driver boom. One complaint now, I've run into this twice, so I'm gonna bring it up. When I was making the mizzenmast, the instructions on rigging it and adding the blocks was not clear at all. I basically had to look at sources from the internet to figure out what I was doing. And also, another thing I ran into on this boom is in the instructions it tells you to add these 2 blocks, but on the actual plan they are not shown. Of course, the reason this is worrying is because I want to build the best pars version, so I have no idea whether this is for add these in for the best pars or the or like the full ones. So I mean, I added it anyway because I think you do have to put it in the best pars, because of the way it's located, and it'll probably be used to hold it up. But still, it's a bit of a lack of detail here. So this is now completely finished. I'm now moving on to the driver gaff boom. These are all the blocks for it. I'm going to rig it up, and when that's done, I've also put in 2 of these blocks on the mizzen top gallant. As you can see, this is now the finished mizzen top gallant yard, completely finished, rigged up. And this is the driver gaff, rigged up, finished. I'm now going to set everything aside, and what I'm going to be doing now is sanding the mizzen topmast yard and the crossjack yard to the correct, chamfering the dowels to the correct diameter, and then when that's done we'll start making the octagonal sections for the yards. So now basically finished. What I'm going to be doing now is adding the bindings in the middle, and then the wire foot rope supports. When that's all added, I'm going to paint it, and then we'll move on to the blocks. As you can see, basically the only thing I have to do now is I'll have a little tiny bit to finish off on these 2 yards I was making, and apart from that we're fully caught up now. But I've literally been making yards for a couple of weeks in a row now, and it's just the same thing over and over again, so I'm really getting burnt out by it. So I'm now going to be switching over to doing the gun ports again. I've actually got this on the wrong side, but let's see if I can flip it over carefully. There we go. Got all of these done. Now this gun port here, we're going to need to put in lids that look like that. It'll be 2 pieces stuck together, going to open up. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, and then that will hopefully mean we're caught up. I've now glued in all the gun ports we need on both sides. Now what we're going to have to do is make these opening ones here. It's just nice and simple, sticking hinges on and painting them the same way as we have before, and then gluing them on. So it's just nice and simple stuff, and we're using 2x5mm wood for this. And then when that's done, I believe we're going to be starting making chain wheels. So finally moving on, because I've been stuck in the same point for weeks, it feels like. But yeah,